Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're digging into the world of artificial intelligence. Not so much the tech itself, but, the big tensions shaping things right now. We're talking policy, market dynamics, and, well, the money side of it all. We've gathered quite a few sources this week, and they really highlight these challenges. Our mission to kind of pull out the key insights for you, help you understand the balancing act going on between innovators, regulators, and investors. Okay, let's unpack this. First up, regulation. Innovation's been moving so fast. Governance is playing catch up. Big news out of California. They just passed the Transparency in Frontier Artificial Intelligence Act, TFAIA. Makes California the first U.S. state with a specific AI safety law.
Yeah, it's a pretty major step for accountability, really. But developers, think Google, Meta, OpenAI, they'll now need to report serious incidents and disclose safety protocols. Plus, and this is important, provide protection for whistleblowers.
Right. And what's fascinating is seeing this against the global picture. California is doing its thing, but the U.S. overall, still kind of patchwork. You've got the EU pushing its big AI act focused on risk levels.
And China's already got mandatory security checks in place. Very different approaches.
Right.
Exactly. Which, well, brings us to that first tension point we mentioned. Experts are saying, look, this state-by-state regulation in the U.S., without federal guidance, it might just muddy the waters.
Yeah.
Create more confusion than actual clarity, which isn't great for a technology that's inherently borderless.
Yeah, more confusion could definitely hamper things. And that kind of uneven policy landscape, it often helps the big players, right? Which leads us nicely into the second tension, market concentration. There's this constant worry that AI is just heading towards a monopoly run by a few tech giants. But Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, he actually offered a different take this week, maybe surprisingly optimistic. He basically said he doesn't see AI becoming a winner-takes-all situation, pointing to very big, well-funded, very competent competitors already in the space.
Right, and he used an interesting analogy. He compared this AI boom to the invention of the transistor. A core breakthrough tech that eventually sparked a huge, diverse industry, not just one dominant company. So he's suggesting competition will drive growth, not consolidation. It's a powerful idea.
It is a powerful idea, but let's, apply some critical thinking here, looking at the source. Building a transistor back then.
Well, the barrier to entry wasn't billions of dollars for compute power, was it?
That's a very fair point. A huge difference.
So you have to ask,
Yeah.
Does Altman's transistor optimism really outweigh the current reality? These multi-billion-dollar deals seem to be concentrating power right now. Precisely. And that concentration, that flow of massive money, it brings us straight to our third tension. Financial stability. Or potential instability. This is where it gets really interesting. Financial institutions are starting to, wave some red flags, talking about a possible investment bubble. Yeah, we saw a pretty stark warning from the Bank of England. They said, and I'm quoting loosely here, that tech stock valuations, especially AI-focused ones, look stretched. And it carries a risk of a sudden correction, a sharp drop.
Oof. Yeah, stretched is putting it mildly sometimes. And you see why they're worried. You've got these sky-high valuations for companies, like OpenAI even, that aren't actually profitable yet. But there's also this deeper concern, this idea of circular financing.
Can you explain that a bit, what's happening there?
Well, essentially, the big AI developers are spending huge amounts on chips, mainly from NVIDIA and cloud services. And that money flows to the chip makers and cloud providers, who are often also major investors, back into those same AI developers.
So the money kind of goes around in a circle. Exactly. It can make the ecosystem look incredibly wealthy on paper, but maybe without enough real profit coming from, end customers actually using the AI yet.
And there's data to back that up, right? I think MIT had some research on this.
That's right. Research from MIT suggests most businesses, they aren't seeing big returns on their generative AI spending so far.
Yeah.
Even though they're spending a lot, which is boosting revenues for those vendors, the chip and cloud companies.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got policymakers trying to catch up with AI safety accountability. We have industry leaders like Altman predicting a diverse competitive market like the transistor era. And then we have financial watchdogs getting nervous about hype and valuations potentially outrunning reality. So putting it all together, what does this all mean for you as you navigate this evolving AI landscape?
Well, I think the big question to mull over, especially thinking about those Bank of England warnings and the MIT findings on ROI, it's how this tension plays out. You've got AI's undeniable long-term promise. Everyone sees that. But then there's the short-term financial picture, which looks complicated. Maybe bubbly? How does that friction resolve itself over, say, the next year or so? That's the key thing to watch, I think.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.